I grew up in an area and to a point in a household that was what is considered racially aware. Um, Real quick, I personally, I'm not a, I'm not a specific race. My mom always jokes that I am a Heinz 57, just because there's so many different European areas of descent, and my dad being a Heinz 57 and my mom being Polish Italian. It's not like I'm part of the master race or anything. I say that as a joke. Um, I believe the master race thing is a foolish endeavor, and but it's one of those things that sticks with you, especially when you have things occur to you at a young age. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever bought a different type of car. Uh, I mean, like if you ever get a Jeep, like a Jeep Wrangler type vehicle, or a Ford Mustang or whatever. Whenever you drive it around after you just bought it, all of a sudden you notice all of them. You start seeing them everywhere you go. And same goes for tattoos. You start getting interested in tattoos. Next thing you know, oh my gosh, it seems like everybody has a tattoo. Well, interracial couples are, I don't know if popular is a very good term to say, but there are many. There are many, and they, in my area, and they definitely stand out. And I remember when I was younger, um, my dad was talking about one of his friends at work. In the area where they're at, the people that work at the place that my dad works, as is typical for the South, um, you get in a small town. There's, say, a big facility, a big power generation facility, or a big mining facility, and that's the good job to get. And those are the people that have money, and there's a pretty wide imbalance between those people that work at a place that's actually churning something out, and the service and support jobs that happen to the other ones. But for some reason, I remember him talking about um, one of his friends at work. He had bought his daughter a car and given her everything growing up, and she actually ended up. She began to hang out in the black part of town, and eventually she got with a black boyfriend and started to live over there. Well, she applied for government subsidies, got them, everything else, and as the story goes, she was bragging about how she was finally out on her own. Didn't need anything from her dad anymore. Regardless of the fact that she was still driving the new car, which was slowly but surely getting beat to shit, and it was totally outside of her mind that because she was getting these subsidies, that no, in fact, you're not taking care of yourself. Just because you don't see the hand that's writing those checks doesn't mean that what you're doing is you. Did that have to do with the race? No, no. Um, Digital pointed out, and it's an accurate statistic. You cannot argue this statistic. There are more white people on assistance than there are black people on assistance. And the statistic will further show that if you look at the people getting assistance, as far as the expenditures and the money put out, it's really a drop in the bucket. And when you think about in a historical term, what happens if you don't take care of the poor? They burn the fucking place down. Is it a white-black thing? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. Logic tells me that if you don't look at the appearance of a person, at the natural appearance and the things that he can't do anything about, then you don't write him off or her off, and you listen to their ideas and you listen to their thoughts. You don't like look at him and say, "Oh, that old black fool, he doesn't know what he's talking about," or I'm not listening to some Mexican. You don't look at it that way, and I think that's how you should conduct yourself. You shouldn't judge a person by their race. You can judge them by their actions, I believe, and if their actions lead to your punishment, then even more so. So time and again, me personally, I don't consider myself a card-carrying racist or anything like that. And there may have been a time that I bragged about how I am not a racist. But then, all of a sudden, recently, racist became some sort of a dirty word. As if somebody says something that's racially motivated, what they're saying no longer has any value. Oh, that's racist. Well, that's racist means you just need to shut the hell up, right? Well, I'll be honest with you. I notice things just like seeing tattoos on people or seeing a bunch of Ford Mustangs going up and down the road. And I could video document this. You can see a car going down the road that at one time that was decent would have one white girl driving it and like 3 black dudes. Or another white girl driving it and a scummy white dude. This is during the day. And the not so nice part of me is always thinking shit like, why aren't you assholes at work? And then I think for a moment, I think, well, they probably wouldn't be worth a shit at work anyway. I don't know. It's a subject that I think is important to talk about and to get it out. Because I don't think it's one of those things that'll be solved if it just gets put in a little box and hidden away for no one to hear. Do I think that it's nice that my daughter can play with black kids and play with other kids and not think anything of it and just enjoy them as a friend? Yes, I think that is a very good thing. And and it could be because I myself am while white in appearance, I'm a mix or a mistake, as some may say. One of the first jobs I had, I worked with a mulatto, and he was one hardworking dude. He really was, and I learned a lot about hard work from him. And his name was Jody. And in case you guys forget about me being in the South, Jody's idea of a funny joke would be throwing alligators into the boat. But I mean, he was very much a country boy, but his life was a fight and his life was a struggle. And his mom and him were turned out of the church after he was born, um, in the area. I never thought that was right. Uh, the same thing went for whenever a girl used to get pregnant and people would drum her out of the church, or if a rumor got along that she slept around, she'd be drummed out. Mm-hmm. I think things are getting better in that regard. The bigots aren't as bad. They don't seem to be killing as many people. The racist people, white racist. When you look up something in the news, down here at least, was there a guy from the Aryan Nation? You see shit in the news of the Aryan Nation people. Instead of it being some sort of a helping out the white race thing, you just see them committing crime. I mean, they've just been relegated to being criminals. I don't know. Whether that's media bias or whatever, um, I don't see that. I don't see that hate getting us anywhere, and I don't see the inverse of that hate getting us anywhere. You know, so I don't need. I don't necessarily need some black person or Asian person or Indian person looking at me and thinking that I'm just going to be racially motivated in my thoughts and my process. But it's something that I have to deal with. And it's something I will have to deal with because the the converse of the situation and the reverse prejudice has become so strong that we're ending up in the same boat. We'll have more on this, and I apologize for the rambling nature of the video. I was just sort of mentioning as it came to mind. We'll see you later.